Millions of dollars in gold vanished after the Civil War, and to this day, no one knows where it went. Some say it's buried underground, others believe it was stolen. But the truth, that's where things get really strange. The year is 1865. The American Civil War, one of the bloodiest conflicts in history, is drawing to a close. After 4 years of brutal battles, the Confederacy is on the verge of collapse. Their armies are broken, their cities are burning, and their leaders are running out of options. But while the war itself is ending, another battle is just beginning, one that has remained unsolved for over a century. It's the story of a fortune in Confederate gold that simply vanished. For years, the Confederacy had been stockpiling gold to fund their war efforts. This wealth, made up of gold coins, bars, and valuable assets, was used to purchase weapons, supplies, and even to bribe foreign governments for support. But as Union forces closed in, Confederate leaders realized one crucial fact: if their government fell, their gold would fall into enemy hands. And so, in the final days of the war, they made a desperate decision. The gold had to disappear. According to historical records, Confederate officials secretly moved the treasury out of Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy, as Union troops advanced. Their goal was to relocate it to a safe location, far from the grasp of the victorious Union Army. But something happened along the way, something that no one can fully explain. The gold was never seen again. Some reports claim it was transported in heavily guarded wagons. Others suggest it was loaded onto a hidden train. But somewhere along the journey, the trail goes cold. Some say Confederate soldiers, desperate and unpaid, looted it for themselves. Others believe corrupt government officials saw an opportunity and seized it. And then there's the most intriguing theory of all, that the US government secretly recovered the gold but kept its discovery hidden from the public. What makes this mystery even stranger is that over the years, treasure hunters, historians, and conspiracy theorists have followed countless clues. Yet no one has been able to prove where the gold went. Some believe it's buried deep in the forests of Georgia, hidden in an unmarked grave. Others claim it was smuggled out of the country and used to rebuild secret Confederate networks. For over 150 years, people have searched for answers. But the deeper you dig, the more questions you uncover. And as we move forward in this video, we'll explore the most bizarre and shocking theories behind the lost Confederate gold. As the Confederate treasury fled Richmond in April 1865, the men guarding the gold knew one thing for certain: if they were caught, their mission would be over. The Union Army was advancing quickly, and the Confederacy's leadership was in complete disarray. President Jefferson Davis and his officials were on the run, desperately trying to evade capture. But their greatest concern wasn't just their own survival. It was what would happen to the millions of dollars in gold they carried with them. Historical records suggest that a large portion of the Confederate gold was transported by train, heading south from Virginia. Some reports indicate that it was stored in wooden crates, carefully hidden among regular cargo to avoid suspicion. However, as Union forces continued their relentless pursuit, the gold had to be moved again, this time in wagons, traveling along remote, unguarded paths through the southern countryside. At this point, something strange happened. The records of the gold's journey suddenly become inconsistent. Some say the wagons made it as far as Georgia before the treasury was buried in secret locations meant to be retrieved later by Confederate loyalists. Others claim the gold was divided into smaller amounts, handed over to trusted individuals, and then disappeared without a trace. One of the most chilling theories suggests that a group of Confederate officers betrayed their own government. Facing the reality that the war was lost, these men allegedly stole the gold, divided it among themselves, and vanished into history. If true, this would mean that America's greatest missing treasure wasn't lost, it was taken. But here's where the mystery deepens. Years after the Civil War, small amounts of Confederate gold began to surface in unexpected places. A gold coin matching the Confederacy's treasury records was discovered in a remote riverbed. A man in the early 1900s claimed to have found a hidden vault in the Appalachian Mountains, filled with what he described as Civil War treasure. But every time a new clue emerged, it only led to more questions. Had the gold been secretly hidden away, waiting to be discovered? Or had it been quietly spent, lost among the shifting tides of history? And if so, who were the ones who took it? As we continue, we'll uncover the most controversial theories about where this treasure might be today, and the people who may have risked everything to keep it hidden. As the years passed, the legend of the Confederate gold only grew. Stories spread of buried treasure hidden deep in the forests of Georgia, Alabama, and even Michigan. But no one could prove its existence. Some believed the gold had been taken overseas, smuggled out of the country by secret Confederate agents. Others were convinced it was hidden underground, waiting to be found by those who knew where to look. One of the most fascinating theories involves a secret Confederate group called the Knights of the Golden Circle, KGC. According to conspiracy theories, this mysterious organization was dedicated to keeping the Confederate cause alive long after the war had ended. Some believe they buried the lost gold in hidden vaults, using it to fund future attempts to regain power in the South. In fact, treasure hunters today still search for clues linked to the KGC, hoping to uncover maps and symbols that may lead to the fortune. But here's where things get even stranger. In 1899, a man named Jim B. Horan claimed to have stumbled upon a sealed Confederate vault deep in the Appalachian Mountains. He described seeing gold bars and coins stacked high, but before he could retrieve anything, the entrance collapsed, trapping the treasure inside. Many have tried to locate this site, but to this day, no one has been able to confirm his story. Then, in the 1940s, a Michigan farmer claimed to have found Confederate gold buried on his land. He believed it was part of a secret operation to move the treasure north, but when he began digging, government officials allegedly stepped in, warning him to stop his search. Could it be that some of the gold had already been found, but was being kept hidden from the public? There's even speculation that the US government recovered the treasure decades ago, but never disclosed it. After all, millions of dollars in gold disappearing without a trace would raise too many questions. If the government had quietly taken possession of the Confederate treasury, they would have had every reason to keep it a secret. So, what really happened to the Confederate gold? Was it stolen by Confederate officials, buried by secret groups, or quietly recovered by the government? As we move into the final section, we'll explore the most shocking discoveries in modern times and whether we are any closer to solving this century-old mystery. Despite over a century of speculation, the Confederate gold remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Treasure hunters, historians, and conspiracy theorists have spent decades searching for clues, but no one has ever found definitive proof of its location. However, a few modern discoveries have reignited interest in the legend. In 1972, a group of treasure hunters in Georgia claimed to have found a sealed Confederate chest buried near an abandoned railway. The box was heavily damaged, and while it contained old Confederate documents and some gold coins, the total value was nowhere near the millions of dollars believed to be missing. This discovery only deepened the mystery. Was this a small piece of the lost treasure, or just a decoy left behind to mislead future searchers? Then, in 2001, an underwater explorer discovered a rusted shipwreck off the coast of Florida, containing gold bars with markings similar to Confederate treasury records. Some believe this ship was part of a secret operation to smuggle gold out of the South as the war was ending. If true, this could mean that some of the Confederate gold never made it to its intended destination and instead was lost at sea. Adding to the intrigue, the US government's role in this mystery remains suspicious. In several cases, treasure hunters who claim to have found potential Confederate gold were ordered to stop digging, or even had their sites sealed off by authorities. Could it be that the government has already recovered some of the lost gold and simply never revealed the truth? Or is this all part of a larger cover-up to protect secrets from the past? Ultimately, the mystery of the Confederate gold remains unsolved. But one thing is certain: as long as even a fraction of that treasure remains missing, the hunt will never end. Somewhere buried deep beneath the earth, hidden in forgotten caves or lying at the bottom of the ocean, the lost Confederate gold may still be waiting to be found. So, what do you think? Was the gold stolen? Was it secretly recovered? Or is it still out there waiting for someone to uncover one of the greatest hidden fortunes in American history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories.